Bad men need nothing more to compass their ends than that good men should look on and do nothing. A person may cause evil to others, not only by his actions, but by his inaction, and in either case he is justly accountable to them for the injury. I have learned to seek my happiness by limiting my desires, rather than in attempting to satisfy them. It is not because men's desires are strong that they act ill, it is because their consciences are weak. Persons of genius, it is true, are and are always likely to be a small minority, but in order to have them, it is necessary to preserve the soil in which they grow. No one can be a great thinker who does not recognize that as a thinker, it is his first duty to follow his intellect to whatever conclusions it may lead. So long as an opinion is strongly rooted in the feelings, it gains rather than loses in stability by having a preponderating weight of argument against it. A party of order or stability and a party of progress or reform are both necessary elements of a healthy state of political life. Both teachers and learners go to sleep at their post as soon as there is no enemy in the field. So true is that unnatural generally means only uncustomary, and that everything which is usual appears natural. After the primary necessities of food and raiment, freedom is the first and strongest want of human nature. Despotism is a legitimate mode of government in dealing with barbarians, provided the end be their improvement. If any opinion is compelled to silence, that opinion may, for aught we can certainly know, be true. To deny this is to assume our own infallibility. The time appears to me to have come when it is the duty of all to make their dissent from religion known. No great improvements in the lot of mankind are possible until a great change takes place in the fundamental constitution of their modes of thought. He who knows only his own side of the case knows little of that. It is given to no human being to stereotype a set of truths and walk safely by their guidance with his mind's eye closed. The strongest of all arguments against the interference of the public with purely personal conduct is that when it does interfere, the odds are that it interferes wrongly and in the wrong place. One person with a belief is worth 99 people who have only interests. What is now called the nature of women is an eminently artificial thing, the result of forced repression in some directions, unnatural stimulation in others. The liberty of the individual must be thus far limited. He must not make himself a nuisance to other people. In history, as in traveling, men usually see only what they already had in their own minds, and few learn much from history who do not bring much with them to its study. Mankind are greater gainers by suffering each other to live as seem good to themselves, than by compelling each to live as seems good, to the rest. I believe in spectacles, but I think eyes necessary too. We have had the morality of submission and the morality of chivalry and generosity. The time is now come for the morality of justice. No slave is a slave to the same lengths, and in so full a sense of the word, as a wife is. Language is the light of the mind. There have been, and may be again, great individual thinkers in a general atmosphere of mental slavery. It is contrary to reason and experience to suppose that there can be any real check to brutality consistent with leaving the victim still in the power of the executioner. Natural rights, nonsense. Natural and imprescriptible rights, rhetorical nonsense, elevated nonsense, nonsense going on stilts. The only freedom which deserves the name is that of pursuing our own happiness in our own way, so long as we do not attempt to deprive others of theirs or impede their efforts to obtain it. War is an ugly thing, but not the ugliest of things. The decayed and degraded state of moral and patriotic feeling which thinks that nothing is worth war is much worse. Civil or social liberty, the nature and limits of the power which can be legitimately exercised by society over the individual. That so few dare be eccentric marks the chief danger of our time. This leads to the consideration of a third great division of names into connotative and non-connotative, the latter sometimes but improperly called absolute. Everyone who receives protection from the society owes a return for the benefit. Liberty consists in doing what one desires. Only through diversity of opinion is there, in the existing state of the human intellect, a chance of fair play to all sides of the truth. Conservatives are not necessarily stupid, but most stupid people are conservatives. The present wretched education and wretched social arrangements are the only real hindrance to its being attainable by almost all. Whatever renders a larger capital necessary in any trade or business limits the competition in that business. Men do not want solely the obedience of women, they want their sentiments, the subjection of women. All that makes existence valuable to anyone depends on the enforcement of restraints upon the actions of other people. Marriage is the only form of slavery permitted by law. Thorough knowledge of one another hardly ever exists, but between persons who, besides being intimates, are equals. In the long run, the best proof of a good character is good actions.